Modern recruiting, a challenge for many organizations. However, we just recently, and I mean last week, had the largest European fair for HR and decision making in the recruiting sector about people development, personal development, staff development. It's a fair, it's an expo, it's a 3-day full event, the largest one that we have in Europe. And it's quite shocking to see how often important people in the organizations, either line managers or HR, have very good ideas. Unfortunately, then the decision-making level, the leadership level, people in leadership ruin the results that other people try to achieve. And now we have to talk about what are the problems and how to do it better. So first, we all know recruiting is one of the most important aspects of today's organizations. The talent shortage is pretty bad, and it's getting worse when we look at the next years. We will see countless organizations that run short and fall short of talent. And at the moment, when you see that, depending on which country you live in, between 500,000 to 1 million people in many countries go to retirement every year, when you see how many people still qualify themselves into these fields, the talent shortage is going to be way worse in the future. So there's no end in sight where we can say it's getting better from here. Of course, you have more and more vendors on the market of recruiting because people see a business opportunity and they offer you different ways how to approach the issue. The question always is, which one of these offers actually helps you? As I just said, the largest HR expo or fair just ended. I gave 12 speeches, 2 interviews, had about 50 appointments in 3 days. I never had anything close to that in the last years. I normally gave 1, 2, 3 speeches, a couple of interviews, and then you had probably 10 to 15 appointments in the 3 days. You see now how bad the situation is right now. And now we have to talk about how to do it better. But first, we have to know what are the issues. So problem number one. Problem number one is leadership is leading in the wrong direction. And the first problem here is ego. The starting point for every single person, for any single organization, for anyone in the recruiting situation is no one is waiting for you. When you think that people are waiting for you, that you allow them to work for you, you have the wrong attitude. It is simply the wrong mindset for the situation in which we are. When you have unique selling propositions or unique selling points, when you think you have something that is truly unique, it is often worth way less than you think. Because often when I tell people, what is it that makes you special? What is it that you offer that no one else offers? The usual answers are, oh, we have flat hierarchies. We have nice people working here, and we have a good payment. So here are the news. Good payment can be expected anyway, not special. Nice colleagues can be expected anyway, not special. When you say flat hierarchies, walk the talk. Just last week, I talked to people who had 2,500 employees in their organization telling me they have flat hierarchies, and only by going on their website, I could see that this is not true. No one is interested in your ego, how great you are or how great your organization is. And even if you have stories from certain people who really like to work for you, N equals 1 is no evidence. When you say, oh, this person really likes it, people go online and see stories from all points of view. Of course, sometimes people aren't fair to you. However, most of these stories that you see online have a certain substance to them, and there is a certain truth. You just don't like that people suddenly have a platform and can complain about what you have probably done wrong. And also, and that is a major problem, often leadership does not allocate enough resources, not enough time, not enough money, not enough staff. That is the leadership problem. But that's not the only problem we have. The second problem is the HR problem. Often, HR does not position itself clearly enough when it talks to leadership. Well, job ads are important, but they are not enough. You need more than just job ads. And you cannot rely on people telling you, oh, I'm networking my way through XYZ, because any organization is networking anyway. Also, most job ads do not meet the requirements people are looking for. And the most important point is the do-it-yourself approach when it comes to design, text, and realizing how to do a good job ad. That simply has to stop. What else do you want to put into HR? What do you think when you talk about HR work? Just think about that for 30 seconds. If I would now say, do you think graphic design is HR? You would probably say, no, that's marketing. When I say, do you think that writing texts is HR? You probably say, no, that's probably marketing or sales. However, I often see that HR is doing all that besides their main job. So they should be in contact with applicants. They should answer quickly. They should do phone calls. They should do emails. They should do writing text for the job ads. They should do the design for the job ads, stay in contact with agencies, or even better, do it all by themselves. What else do you want to put into HR? And very important here, unfortunately, often HR doesn't position itself clearly enough when it comes to talking to leadership. When you talk to the leadership area, you have to make unambiguously clear in a nice and respectful way that your job is XYZ and anything comes on top of that, and this is where you need help. And as a good leader, or an excellent leader even, you will accept that in a nice, proper, and polite way. If you now say, leaders are just not listening to me, please look at vacancy calculators. Vacancy calculators show you what does it cost you not to have a certain job role fulfilled or filled or working, having someone work in that position. And these vacancy calculators, of course, immediately cause the question, oh, where does that come from? And often leaders say, or some leaders say, I can't believe this is true. I can't imagine this is correct. I give you an example. And by the way, the formula for these vacancy calculators comes from Harvard University. So I think that's a pretty reasonable approach. The vacancy calculators show you what do you pay people per year? How many days do they work? On which level do they work? It's lower, middle, or higher level. And I know these terms are problematic, but they are used here to just make it simpler to get to a certain number. And then, of course, you have to say, how long is the job open and no one is working in that position at the moment? So when you, for example, say you pay someone $50,000 a year, and it's the usual working year for a full-time position, it's a middle position, somewhere in the middle, not senior leadership or executives, and it's open for 90 days. You already lost about 40,000 only for this vacancy. And let me tell you, if now any leader says, I can't imagine this is true, it is not about imagination. Science does not care about your imagination. You need to use vacancy calculators to have a stronger position, a more factual argument, a good position to discuss with leaders why you need more money. And even if you doubt that the calculation is correct, first, the burden of proof then is with you. And second, if it's 35,000, 40,000, 50,000, if it's 30 or 50, 25 or 60, that's not even relevant because all of these numbers are way, way higher than giving better budgets for proper recruiting. So how to do it better now? First, use agencies because agencies do everything for you professionally. And I can give you the proper reason why you need to work with an agency. When you go to some sort of job platform, no matter if it's Stepstone, Monster, or whatever else, Indeed.com, there are many out there. I just mentioned a couple of them. When you go online, you write everything by yourself, you do pictures by yourself, everything is do it yourself. And then you upload it there, you pay the price that is mentioned on the website, probably with your corporate credit card. They are going to have fireworks going off on their side because they know your text is not great, your graphics aren't perfect. Probably when setting it up, you did some sort of mistake when you had to choose all the different options. So that means your recruiting is inefficient and you have to put out another job ad. And again, and again, and again. You pay and pay and pay. When you use an agency, agencies have a strong position with every single job ad platform for a very good reason. They buy huge amounts upfront, get a way better price. So when you use an agency, you pretty much pay the same or just slightly more for professional text, professional graphics, for professional outreach, and for professional ways of putting it online, reaching to way more applicants than you ever did before. What you, of course, need is an excellent text in your job ad, which is done by the agency, very clear benefits, which, of course, have to come from you, a very clear profile what you're looking for, which is a filter so you do not get applicants who do not fit to the job description, and a very clear definition, what are you actually looking for, what are the tasks that people have to do. And when you now say, well, we're struggling with the benefits, and I already mentioned a couple of aspects where you saw this is probably not great when you put it in a job ad. And there's a very simple method how you can find out if something is a real benefit. And it's called the opposite method. I give you an example. Let's say you offer an e-bike for your employees for free. People get an e-bike. So the opposite of that will be you offer no e-bike, and that's a pity because an e-bike would be really nice to get to work. If you come to the conclusion the opposite of what you just said is a pity, then put it in your job ad. When you, for example, say we offer we offer work-life balance, the opposite would be we do not offer work-life balance, which would be embarrassing. And if you come to the conclusion the opposite of what you just said is embarrassing, do not put it in your job ad. And that is the very simple solution how you can find out what to put in your job ad as a benefit. Always use modern media. And that also means, and that's where you really need an agency. If you talk about geo-targeting, geographical targeting, which is, by the way, fully GDPR compliant, if you, for example, look for retail people in central London, you can put a digital fence around central London and put ads out there which reach out to people working in real estate. And when they see it on, for example, social media, but unfortunately, exactly in that moment, they are on the bus and they have to leave the bus just when they see your ad, then you can use retargeting. Retargeting means they arrive at home and still fully GDPR compliant on their other means, on their other devices they see on their laptop, on their desktop computer. They see the same job ad again and again. So people see, oh, someone is interested in me. Let's look at what this is about. Of course, and this goes without saying, this is complicated to set up. You need professionals and you need a professional agency to do that. Social media and more is key in recruiting today, no matter for which position you're looking for. Of course, different target audience are more or less prone to be on social media. However, looking at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc., you see that the vast majority of people are on there. And these are the people you want to talk to. You're not looking for the people who are long-term unemployed because no one wants them. You're looking for people who are highly talented, probably employed somewhere, but they are willing to change jobs if the offer is right. These are the people you want to talk to. Following, you now need an excellent process to deal with applicants. So that needs to be an excellent and modern approach. So you have a first talk, have a second talk. You constantly stay in contact. By the way, not too many rounds, especially in the English-speaking world. When you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds of interviews, you have to offer a record amount. When you look into other countries where they do 1 or 2 rounds and their results are better than what you do, probably reconsider, why does anyone have to talk to the applicant, especially when there is no point except for I want to be important as well from a certain leader or even a non-leader in your organization. After that, make a quick decision. Use modern media to stay in contact. There has to be a maximum time frame of 30 days from first contact to the contract signed. And when you now say, sorry, we can't do that, and the usual excuses are, A, we are too big to do that, or B, we are too small, we don't have the resources. IBM managed to do it. Sven Semet, who is a German senior manager from IBM, talked about that during the HR Fair and Expo we just recently had. From first contact to a signed contract, 30 days with IBM. So when you can't do it, you really have to work on your end and do not blame anyone else. If you still have these moments where you say, oh, someone from HR is on annual leave, so we get back to you in 3 weeks. Just expect that these people are not available anymore. And by the way, if you miss out on answering completely or giving specific answers, do not complain that people on Glassdoor.com talk down on you because you probably didn't deal with them respectfully, and then you ask for a negative review personally. Very important here is HR leads the discussion towards leadership when it comes to recruiting in a nice and respectful way, but please position yourself in a way that you say, we are the experts on this. Please listen to us. Employer branding, of course, is important as well. That's an ongoing project and not a one-off. When you do all of this, you have a great position, you will get the best applicants, and you will get the best talent in your organization. And with that, I wish you all the best of luck and the best success you can achieve ever possible. And of course, when you now say, I have a couple of questions here, just write me an email. nb@nb-networks.com. The email address is also mentioned in the show notes of this podcast. Feel free to contact me anytime. If you're looking for something very specific, either is it training or speaking, coaching, whatever else, just contact me, nb@nb-networks.com. I will answer any email within 24 hours or less. If you now like to talk to me personally, we have live sessions. And when you go to expert.nb-networks.com and register your email address there, you only receive one email every Wednesday morning. It's 100% content at free guarantee. And in that email, you get free access to everything I published, to anything I published. And you also see when do we have the next Q&A live session. But the third step, and that's the most important one, apply what you heard in this podcast, because only when you apply what you heard, you will see the positive aspects and the positive results you want to see in your organization. With that, I wish you all the best. And for the rest of this week, thank you very much for your time.